Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today, weekly WandaVision reviews, episode 5. What was this episode called? It's called a very special episode or something like that. I think. The episode released yesterday, and there were rumours about 2 episodes releasing, but there was only one.
But it was a longer
different.
one. It was 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was longer. It was 41 minutes, I think. Yeah, it was called On a Very Special Episode. That was it. That episode came out yesterday, so what did you think about it, first of all?
Well, I'll do like a quick non-spoiler thoughts. It was sort of the first, I feel like it was one of the first episodes where we're starting to get like, I don't know, like not as much like sitcom stuff properly.
Mm-hmm.
Cause this was obviously the first, I think it's quick to mention, this is the first episode where it switches back and forth between, the sitcom world and then the real world. And then I feel like this was the first episode where it sort of this is the start of like the build up towards the end. So obviously we're like, I think we're over the halfway mark now, aren't we? Unless there's like a secret 10th episode.
If that's true. I don't know if I believe those rumours, but
I feel like this is the start of like what is coming to the end of the series, and this is like the first episode that's setting up the finale and what's going to happen.
I like that a lot more as well, which we kept like switching between, because as I said in the previous reviews, and I've just been saying in general, I think that the show works a lot better when it alternates between both the like Wanda and Vision's world and the real world. So I think that was a much better. They had a much better blend of that this episode. I preferred that, and the way it changed. I liked how when it went to the stuff with Sword and like Monica Rambeau and all that, it was a 16:9 aspect ratio. But then when it was in the sitcom mode, it was like full screen, so it still looked like a sitcom. I thought that was good. That's a good use of like techniques there.
Also there's a lot of, well, not a lot, but there is a decent amount of comic references, and
there's some big things that happened in this episode. It was 40 minutes long, and they used that time well. I thought,
and they pushed a lot as well. Like they pushed like a lot forward. They've clarified a few story-wise, things, and then they've also just basically setting up the end.
Yeah, and I think that this is like kind of a key episode in terms of the story, but it's going to be the sort of thing that bridges the first half of the season and the second half together, so that it will kind of like meld together well. Especially next week's episode and the setup at the end of this one, we're going to have some very interesting things to look forward to, I think.
Yeah.
But
I think we should just talk about spoilers now, because there's some big stuff that happened. So if you haven't seen the episode already,
one last thing I want to say is I think this is the best episode of the show so far. I don't know if you agree with me, but I think this is the best
I think this show just keeps on getting better and better. But I think the reason why that is, I feel like we didn't get a lot in the first few episodes, and that's why it is. And maybe the point that it's like not everyone's style, because if you're into that sitcom sort of thing, it's good. But if you're not, I don't like. You're just watching it just for the story.
The weird thing for me is a lot of people said that like last week's episode was the best one, the 4th one. I didn't really agree with that. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was bad, but I didn't think that was the best episode so far. Like up until that point, I thought that episode was pretty good. It was just a kind of a like explaining episode, though. I didn't really think it was as good as some people made it out to be. But I think this one definitely is. This is like the best episode so far, in my opinion. So do you want to get into spoilers?
We'll get into the spoilers now. So if you haven't seen it already, go and watch it. It's on Disney Plus, and then come straight back here for obviously all the sort of our thoughts and maybe some things that you missed. So let's get into it.
Yep. So I guess the opening of this episode was just like an amusing scene where Wanda and Vision are trying to put the babies to sleep, and obviously they keep crying, and then it's like, again, your usual sitcom thing, and then Agnes comes in and starts doing some crazy weird stuff, like as usual, and they had that scene where Wanda was like, or where Vision was like, I don't want Agnes to hold the babies or whatever, and then Agnes kind of looked at Wanda and just said, like, do you want to take it from the top, basically?
Yeah, like breaking the fourth wall, really.
Things? Yeah, and you want to like rewind it and take things back, And then obviously Vision kind of picked up on that. He was like, "What the hell are you going on about?" And he even questions Wanda on it. And Wanda's like, "No, she's just being neighborly." So I think that definitely confirms, to me at least, that she's under Agnes's control somehow, Mephisto's control. Like they kind of have her tied like around their finger in a way. Because I don't think she'd say that otherwise.
Yeah, I just want to say that Paul Bettany's acting in this episode is amazing. Like, even like from the start to like the end, like more at the end, but at the start it was really good as well. And we did get that.
Because you see the build-up of him kind of like not understanding fully what's going on, which I like.
And then he gets like frustrated and stuff. But we did get that just before the scene that you mentioned, the opening scene. We did get the intro, which is obviously another like sort of sitcom intro, and we got pictures of
little baby
Vision and
Vision,
baby Wanda, and I think the Wanda pictures are actually from Elizabeth Olsen's actual like pictures, because obviously it was like her as a kid, and then obviously we got a baby Vision, which I don't know how that one works,
like baby in makeup. I wonder if they actually like put a baby in makeup, or if they just like CGI'd that.
I'm hoping they CGI'd that. I don't think any baby has to go through that sort of trauma at such a young age.
Through that kind of makeup, yeah.
But yeah, I think that was that was funny. I think there was a lot of things this episode that sort of made me laugh. I don't know why.
Yeah, there were some pretty funny jokes in this episode, and just the whole like the whole sitcom style. Like, even if I don't find it funny, one thing I like about the show, I did find it like mostly entertaining. Like the stuff they were doing is like fun, so I didn't mind it as much. But we got Agnes. She comes in and obviously helps put the babies to sleep. Tries to help, and then we see that they grow up, that was like a complete out of nowhere sort of thing that I wasn't expecting. Then the kids.
I was kind of expecting it. Number one, because I got it spoiled for me. We'll talk about that in a bit. But number one,
that's like towards the end of the episode. Because that's a problem both of us got annoyed with. But,
I got that spoiled for me that the kids grew up. Which wasn't really big, because I expected it anyway, because of the jump in the pregnancy thing. I was thinking they're not going to keep them as babies. They're going to make them...
Yeah, because it was progressing way too fast for them to like stay as kids for that long. Especially if they want to introduce their powers, and there's no way.
Yeah, because with Tommy and Billy, I feel like if they don't introduce their powers, I feel like a lot of people are going to get annoyed. At least comic fans are. So I feel like we will get at least a sense of their powers soon. We didn't get any this episode, but I feel like we do get a sense of their powers in the future, at least before they possibly vanish. I don't think they're gonna get taken into the real world or anything. It really depends how they set up the ending of this show, but I think with those two as well, I think from them it was really good. Just like your classic kids in a sitcom sort of thing, we're just sort of acting like sort of the same, and there was sort of Wanda's obviously explaining to them throughout the episode of like the importance of family and stuff, and
like a bunch of basically just life lessons that you usually teach kids in sitcoms, like the thing with the
then they mentioned that they're brothers as well, which is obviously setting something up for later in the episode. Like they emphasize the fact of that, and then they also find a dog which is Sparky from the comics, but he doesn't look like the Sparky from the comics, which
he's just a dog,
I would have liked to see that, but it's fine. It would have looked weird anyway.
Considering how baby Vision looked, I don't think the dog Vision would have looked much better, to be honest. He looked a bit wonky as it was, so I don't know.
Yeah, all the sitcom stuff was great this episode, in my opinion. I feel like I didn't really have any faults with the sitcom stuff.
To be honest, I thought that most of that stuff was better than the sword stuff, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I've got something with that sword stuff later, but
we'll switch to the sword stuff now, because we do get a cut like about 4 minutes into the episode into the sword stuff, and we see Monica waking up in sort of the hospital, sword like medical room, and
medical bay,
she's just like
after she's been thrown out.
She's getting like scans done, and they said they can't scan her, which means that Wanda's world's like done something to, I don't know what it's done to her, but they can't pick up any. I think they were doing X-ray scans of her head. And then they couldn't. They said nothing's coming up, and then they were like, "Oh, okay." They just sort of ignored that, and then she just got up and walked off. And then
because she said that she wasn't going to stay there. And then they had that scene where they were in the briefing room, and her what's the guy's name? Tyler thing. What's his
Hayward?
Name? I don't remember. Hayward, that was
the only reason I remember his name is because I think he's actually up to something dodgy. I've seen like theories
because
people saying he's Mephisto or something, but I feel like he is up to something dodgy.
I don't know about that, but he's been doing some really wonky things, especially this episode where he's just making questionable decisions that like clearly don't make any sense.
Yeah,
for at least like from a logical point of view, but we have a scene where they're all talking in a briefing room, and then they talk about. I don't remember exactly what they said, but they said they couldn't do something because of the Sokovia Accords.
No. They didn't say that. They said they explained basically said we looked through CCTV footage of the Sword base, the one that Monica shows up in. Is it episode 4?
Well, actually, was it that they had something in accordance with the Sokovia Accords?
It said that they obtained Vision's body or remains,
Vision's corpse,
through the Sokovia Accords, and Wanda stealing the corpse, which is revealed now. Wanda's actually stole Vision's corpse. She broke that sort of law or rule that's put in place. So, basically meaning that they can sort of arrest her if they wanted to, but obviously no, because then we get a mention that obviously she was basically the closest person to taking out Thanos on their own, except for obviously Iron Man when he did the snap. But we did get.
Well, no, they also said that Captain Marvel as well.
Oh, yeah, they mentioned Captain Marvel, and then Monica she made this weird face, which I don't know why.
As if she doesn't know, as if she doesn't want to know about Captain Marvel right now.
I feel like that's setting up something for Captain Marvel too.
The thing for me is that this is outside of WandaVision, but I don't like how they keep telling us, and I want to emphasize they're telling us that Captain Marvel is powerful, but then we never see any of this in the movie. The powers she displays are average compared to other characters. I think Wanda's more powerful, Thor's more powerful, even Captain America seems to be more powerful than.
Well, Captain America's worthy now, so but exactly, unless he's dead, I don't know. We don't know that yet.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other can of worms, but I don't know. When they compared Wanda to Captain Marvel, I thought Wanda did way more than they said that if Thanos did put that blitz thing on top of her,
she would have killed him most likely.
She would have killed him, yeah. Whereas Captain Marvel was what the hell did she do? I mean, she
headbutted him and then got punched by the Power Stone.
That's what I was going to say. And then she gets punched by the Power Stone and goes flying away. I don't know. I don't like this thing that they keep doing where they just keep telling us that Captain Marvel's powerful, but they're not actually
I feel like they need to show us in the next movie, and they need to actually develop a character a bit more. I feel because
aside from being tough,
because I want to be interested, but I'm just not. I'm just not. So yeah, but that's a whole different thing.
That's the thing. It's not. You can't even make the case with where people say that it's because you don't like female characters or something. Because look at this show.
Yeah, this show's done it well.
This show, and everyone loves Wanda. Because Wanda's a great character.
I think every female character in the show's brilliant. Wanda, Agnes, Monica, and even
Monica's one of the best characters
Darcy,
in the show.
I like Darcy a lot more than I did in Thor.
I liked her. I like her a bit more than Thor. I don't really like her that much though. I still find it kind of irritating. I don't know. I don't hate that character anymore, but I could do without her. That's why I'd say. But anyways,
we did get a mention of Captain Marvel. We got a mention of the Infinity Stones. They said, they both got their power from the Infinity Stones.
Powers from
trying to make similarities.
Also, we got the names of Wanda's parents, which isn't Eric Lensher or what was Magneto's original name? Was it Max Eisenhardt?
Yeah, I think so.
That? Yeah. We hear that, so we know that it's at least for now, as far as we know, unless they've used some alias or something, because Magneto has changed his name before.
There is a thing.
Magneto isn't.
There is a thing that happens at the end of the episode, and things that they say which could hint to them still being in there.
Hint to it otherwise, to them saying otherwise, but.
Let's move on. We go back to the sort of sitcom world. They basically try and figure out what the hell are we supposed to do. They go back to the sitcom world, and then what we see the stuff where they find Sparky, and then Vision's obviously getting more.
The dog's just dead.
That's a bit later. That's a bit after that.
Oh yeah,
but
they're living life with the dog.
I think the one interesting thing that happens before that is the thing with Vision at work with Norm.
I was literally just about to say that their life's all fine, but then obviously Vision's gone to work for some reason. We don't know why, and then I guess you could explain what
because obviously Vision has the Mind Stone in his head in that reality or that world, he can still use the powers of the Mind Stone because it's technically there. I don't really know how that works, even though it's like a corpse. Obviously we see him use the Mind Stone powers. He sort of touches the side of Norm's head, and Norm breaks out of this trance that he's in, and he's like, "Help me!" The first thing he says, "Help me!" She's in my head. I can't get out. I have a family. I need to call them. How long have I been here? What time?
Interesting point there. He said she. He didn't say who. So we don't know if it's Wanda or Agnes. That's why I'm thinking it's one of those two, because we don't know for a fact.
Well,
that it's
but the
Wanda.
thing is, there also is the email on the computer, which they've got computers now, because obviously the time's moved forward.
Yeah, from Sword,
and saying the Maximoff anomaly. So yeah. I think that's going to be a big term that's going to be used throughout the whole of this series, like till the end now.
And maybe even the MCU after this, because we don't know how it's going to impact Doctor Strange and all that stuff as well.
Yeah, if they do, I think that's a good point. I feel like they could use that term in Doctor Strange. This is going to be one of the sort of terms that are going to stick, like the Sokovia Accord sort of thing. But yeah. I think what else is there? Then
what happened after the Norm stuff? That was interesting though.
We switched back to Sword.
Yeah.
And Monica starts shooting the clothes, and clothes are bulletproof now. Like those, like 80, 60s
well,
clothes.
they were bulletproof, I think, and then because she went in, they transformed into 70s clothes, but they still had Kevlar.
Yeah,
because obviously her pants that she went in with were like 70% or 87% Kevlar or something. She said, but then obviously when she came out, she still had her 70s clothes on, but there's like bulletproof now.
Yeah, so it's sort of like merged, but they said, so then they figured out that they what did they say? They say we have to send in something that can't be changed or altered.
Old tech,
so that's when they decided to send in that drone, that little helicopter drone thing.
From like the 80s or whatever.
And then they obviously go to contact Wanda, say Wanda, come on, get out now, basically.
Yeah.
And then
let's go,
Hayward decides to shoot a rocket at Wanda, which we don't actually see.
As I said, he's making very weird, questionable decisions.
He's up to something.
Which I don't think...
He's definitely up to something.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no way he's like thingy. I mean,
innocent.
Yeah, there's no way he's like not got some sort of bigger plan. I feel like he wouldn't be sort of. I don't think it's like a Mephisto.
I think it might be like General Ross. You know, like how General Ross.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
He's not evil, but he does antagonizing things.
I feel like he's more of the external threat, rather the internal threat. Like he's not Mephisto. I don't think that's more of an internal threat.
No,
I feel like he's the external threat who's like
Mephisto.
Making things worse by trying to make it better. But I think he's trying to. I think that they're gonna make him like obviously, like you said, the General Ross figure, where he's trying to secure his position of power because he doesn't want Monica to come like take that. So I think that's what he's trying to do, but he obviously pisses off Wanda like a lot. Her eyes turn red.
Yeah, and then she actually comes out of Westview,
and she's wearing a normal suit, like her Endgame suit. I think it's an Endgame suit.
Yeah, and that was good to see again. Like, good to see that obviously.
And one quick thing before we talk about that. Her accent disappears. Like she has like this American accent throughout the whole series.
It kind of came back. It came back in that scene when she was talking.
It came back. That's what I mean. Her fake American accent disappears and it goes back to her normal like Sokovian accent. Is what I think that's what they're trying to go for. And then so that's come back, which is interesting because I saw a lot of people like criticizing,
saying like, where's it gone?
Criticizing Marvel for that, saying, "Oh, now she's just American," sort of thing. But they have explained it through like it's just a sitcom thing. So yeah, and then she gives them that drone thing and basically says, "Leave me alone," and then just goes back in. Well, no, one interesting thing before she goes back in, she turns all the soldiers evil and to point to Hayward.
But then when she goes back in, they stop, obviously, so I think she was just doing it so they didn't shoot her as she was going back in.
Yeah, definitely.
So that kind of shows that she's not, obviously she doesn't want to kill anyone, but she's not trying, like, she's basically saying, you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone.
Yeah, she basically, I think she said exactly that. I think that whole scene reminded where she turned him evil. It did give me, like, what she was doing in, Age of Ultron. They gave me those sort of vibes, so I think she'll turn evil.
Also, I can't remember if this was before or after that, but there was that other scene as well where, speaking of the sword stuff, where Monica says that I might know an astro like engineer or something that I can send in or something like that. And
I think that was before
that. Could be that could be like many characters. I mean, the few that I'm thinking of, it could maybe be Reed Richards or Victor Von Doom, because obviously they know about that sort of stuff, or like really any of the Fantastic Four.
I mean, we've got links to our Fantastic Four like things before, like this.
So
we've done a theory video on that. You can go and watch that.
Out.
So
there's also maybe Beast or Hank McCoy or whatever you want to call him. That could be linked to him. It could be linked to any of those characters, but I think that could be a setup for something. I thought that was interesting. Yeah,
and then Wanda goes back in and Sparky's dead. Rest in peace, Sparky. He was only in there for
that was kind
episode.
of like I didn't want to laugh, but it was so out of nowhere. I was like, okay, how the hell's this?
And
happening?
it's because he was just munching on some bushes or something. I don't know, man. He was munching on some bushes.
Yeah. He just ate a bush,
and it was Agnes's bush. Let's get that fact clear. That could be some sort of significant.
Yeah, it could have poisoned it or something.
Maybe he didn't even eat a bush. She just holding him and he's dead. We don't see him eat a bush. She just says it, so
that's
we have
true.
to take
she just said it, and she's holding him all wrapped up in some
blanket sort of thing.
Little blanket thing. Yeah. So
and then the kids start crying. Vision comes and is like, "Oh, dog's dead. All right, let's go home now." They go home. Mm-hmm. Kids are asleep. And then this is where it all sort of kicks off. Vision's getting annoyed, saying, "You're doing something. Something's going on here. I know. I've spoken to Norm. Norm's saying you've trapped him. He's got a family. You need to stop this. Whatever it is, you need to stop this." And then they both have this confrontation. Sorry, I can't even really speak today. Where they just sort of fly into the air and they look like they're about to sort of fight or fight it out. Vision look like he might try and go out of Westview, which we do know is going to happen because we've seen it in a promo. And
that's one thing I'm kind of iffy of. I wonder how much they've actually spoiled or shown in those promos.
You know what it is? I feel like because of the leaks, which we could talk about now, because we're coming to the end part of the episode. I feel like because of the leaks, they're trying to put out more promos to fill out whatever leaks have come out, so they can say, "Oh, basically, we released this."
Heal over them in a way.
Yeah. So we released this. It's not because of leaks people found out sort of thing. But they're having their sort of moment where they look like they're about to fight. Paul Bettany's acting here is amazing when Vision is getting angry and really annoyed.
Yeah, and obviously we know that Vision's gonna obviously find out that he's been brought back to life, obviously, which I'm interested to see how that will probably turn out, because I feel like once he leaves Westview, he could just drop dead.
I think he's going to drop dead. I think as soon as he leaves that barrier, we're just going to see his corpse fly to the ground. I think we'll see the same imagery as we saw in Infinity War, when we see his head flop.
Infinity War, sorry.
Yeah, when we see his head flop to the side. I think we'll see that, possibly the exact same shot, but just obviously in the Westview sort of setting.
Yeah, and also it was during the day in Infinity War, maybe because obviously it seems to be all the stuff outside of Westview is always set at night.
Yeah.
So maybe when he flops on the floor, it'll be at night, it'll just fall on the floor and be dead. That'd be an interesting contrast to Infinity War.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that'd be a good shot to see as well.
Yeah. And then obviously by far the biggest surprise in this whole episode that none of us
not to us though, because we already knew.
But not to us. Yeah, because we already know, because of stupid people who leaked it. And I'm going to say, Robert Storms is a YouTuber. This guy, I couldn't believe it. Because I was subscribed to, I watched his videos from time to time, and he put up a video literally called Evan Peters returns as Quicksilver in WandaVision, confirmed by leaks, with Quicksilver in the thumbnail. So that's kind of a douchey move. Why the hell would you put it in? That's I don't know. I feel like that's
the way I got it spoiled was slightly bit different. I saw a clip from which I think is a Halloween episode. And I'm not going to say.
Well, don't say anything.
Yeah, it's just all I saw. I saw a clip from the Halloween.
That was just part of the leak. Yeah, because obviously a lot of things got leaked. The only thing that I knew was that Quicksilver was going to show up. I didn't know in what capacity he would show up.
Yeah. I saw 3 things. One thing wasn't confirmed in this episode. I won't mention that. But I saw 2 things. I saw Quicksilver on the screen, obviously as Evan Peters. And then I saw obviously
which is what we saw in yesterday's episode.
I saw Tommy and Billy grown up, which not grown up fully, just to the point where they are here, I think. Well, they were grown up in some extent, but yeah.
I assume some guy must have recorded footage from somewhere.
I just saw it on Instagram, by the way. So yeah, that clip was there, but it was a full 2-minute clip from the episode. I saw about the first 10 seconds of it. So you can imagine if I saw all that in 10 seconds, there's a lot more. So if you do see any clips like that, do not watch them.
Yeah, just stay off social media if you don't want spoilers.
Yeah, try and be careful as well, because there's people on Instagram a lot out there. And YouTube that don't put warnings on, which is kind of a douchey thing to do.
Scummy.
But it's just the way people are. So stay off it if you don't want to see any spoilers. But yeah, Evan Peters is back.
As Quicksilver, which is good because he's better than Aaron Taylor-Johnson.
And
in my opinion, is Quicksilver.
He's wearing some weird clothes. He's got some New Jersey accent.
80s clothes. He looked like he was from the 80s. In the X-Men movies, he was from the 70s, 80s.
And his hair looks weird as well.
Yeah, because it looks like Aaron Taylor Johnson's hair a little bit.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit like, especially from the back, it looked exactly like him. So I could understand why people were
shocked. And then we see
but,
Darcy watching it on her own, because like obviously in the last like few episodes she's said that she's like addicted to it, like she's actually watching the show with us, which that's one thing I like about Darcy. It feels like she's the character watching the show with us, so she's having similar reactions, and she just says, she looks at the screen, sees Quicksilver, and says she recast Pietro, which just that's like a big thing, which I think could be overlooked by a lot of people, but I think it's a big thing, because if she can recast Pietro, she can recast anyone.
Who knows who else she could recast?
She can recast her parents and bring Magneto into it. We don't know for sure if it was. We don't know for sure if that was her who's actually doing this, because we don't know where. Because even when she got the knock on the door and she opened it, even she looked shocked. She was like, "How the hell's this happening?" So but they didn't give like any warning of this happening in the episode. Legit, the only warning they gave was when she was talking to Tommy and Billy.
With the whole brothers thing. Yeah, about the whole brothers thing. And then also the thing about just because people died and we care about them, we can't just like bring them back to life no matter how much we miss them. But obviously...
Yeah, because then if she... I don't think that was her doing it, because if she did that, she would have just brought Sparky back to life.
And she would have brought everyone back to life, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, and then now, basically, Agnes knows that she has powers, like, knows in quotation marks, because she probably already knows, but now it's like she's heard it from, like, someone else, so... And
especially when Vision's, like, talked to her earlier in the episode, and he says, "Why did you do that in front of Agnes?" And she's like, "Oh, she wasn't looking." It's probably because she knows, or she already knows that she has powers, so...
Also, you get the sense that Tommy and Billy know that something's wrong here, as well. The way that they act, like they act a bit weird to the point,
especially after Sparky's like, when they're like, you could do like anything, you could bring Sparky back to life, but then she doesn't. They definitely
that was definitely a good bit of dramatic irony for the audience, so that we know that Vision's like a corpse just walking around, and she can't bring the dog back to life. But yeah. Obviously Quicksilver's back. They say the recast thing. This could be big. She could recast anyone. Say if Spider-Man goes in, they could be recast as Toby or Andrew. This is one thing I was saying to you. I'm just going to quickly throw it out there. And then even with her parents don't have the same name, but they could be recast as, like, I don't know, X-Men characters.
Yeah, Michael Fassbender or someone, who knows? But
anyone
I'm thinking, do you think this could be... this could have anything to do with the Luke Skywalker level cameo that Elizabeth Olsen was talking about?
Well, I hope the Luke Skywalker level cameo wasn't Quicksilver. Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Evan Peters as Quicksilver, but that's not Luke Skywalker level.
Yeah, that's
level.
not Luke
That's not like
we were discussing this, and the only things that could come close to Luke Skywalker level, Toby, that's the only one that could really come close.
For me, it's like Toby, Daredevil, or like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Those three, and then
I don't think any of those three will show
up. The logical, more grounded
but...
ones are Tony,
Doctor Strange,
Tony.
No, I don't want Tony to show up.
He can show up though, and they might do it.
That doesn't. Yeah, just because they can do something doesn't mean they should.
That's a big possibility, but there's one thing that sort of debunks that.
I don't want Tony to show up.
There's that one thing that debunks that theory of mine, that it's like to be like alive, I guess, in Wanda's world, if you're dead, she has to have the corpse, or she has to recast you, clearly, because she doesn't have Quicksilver's corpse, so that's why he doesn't look like, obviously, I don't know the actor's name, played him in Age of Ultron.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, that's why he doesn't look like him, and obviously it's Evan Peters. And she also, I'm assuming, or at least I hope she doesn't have Iron Man's corpse, like, lying around anywhere.
That's going to be a bit dark, isn't it? She picks up Tony Stark's dead body. Maybe they'll do it like Justice League, and then she can bring him back like in Justice League, and then Tony won't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, they just start punching everyone. But I don't know. I feel like they could bring him back if they wanted to.
No, I don't want Tony to come back. He's dead. Just let him rest in peace. Like, there's no reason to bring that character back. They wouldn't shut up about him in Far From Home. So they don't need to just bring Iron Man.
Loki could be one, but he's not Luke Skywalker level. Because of the series as well.
Probably is to me.
I feel like, because Loki's like in the trailer, we've seen him like flying across all these like different worlds. He could just randomly fly into the WandaVision world if he wanted to.
At some point, I don't know. I'm interested to see who that cameo is, but that's kind of extending a bit past this episode. Maybe we'll find out like at some other point in.
Yeah, we'll definitely find out, because if we don't see anyone big at like for the rest of the episodes, we know she was talking about Quicksilver.
We
then.
know that it's Quicksilver.
And then if we do, obviously we'll find out then. So we'll just have to wait for that. But yeah, overall,
that was pretty big.
Amazing episode.
Obviously, a good setup for next week as well.
Yeah. Overall, an amazing episode. A lot of things. This is why it's the video's gone over half an hour now. So obviously, it's because it was a 40-minute episode number 1, so we got longer episodes. But there was also so much packed into here that obviously we just talked about it all. So yeah, what a good episode. If you haven't seen it already, I don't know why you're watching this video, but go and watch it.
Yeah, well, I guess you got it spoiled just like we did with the ending. But it's good that they, obviously brought Quicksilver back, and also, again, good that one thing that I was scared about when they bought it was that they just pretend that the Fox X-Men movies never happened. I'm happy that they're actually paying attention to them. So
also, that confirms that he's not Mephisto, unless, I don't know.
Well, not necessarily. He could just be taking that form.
Possibly.
We don't know anything yet, because obviously in this episode he's literally just showed up and says, "Can't."
And he calls Vision a popsicle. That's one thing I want to say. And then
he literally just says, "Can't," like basically, "Give me a hug." That's literally all he says, and then that's all we know that he's there for. So that's about it, I guess. What a good episode. I guess if you guys watched this episode already, then be sure to let us know what you thought in the comments below. If you haven't watched it, then
go watch it.
I don't know what you're doing here.
Go watch it, because it was actually a decent episode. But one thing I wanted to mention just before we end is that our Mephisto WandaVision theory video passed 1,000 views like 2 days ago, and just a big thank you to everyone who supported it and who's carrying on supporting it.
Huge thing
if you haven't seen it already, make sure you go and check that out. But
yeah, because that's like a massive thing for us. It's like a first video to reach 1,000 views. I'm really happy about it, so thank you. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our others on the channel. Be sure to hit the like button so it gets recommended everywhere else. More people can see it. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you like this video and just get more videos from us. Check out our Instagram link in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. See ya.